Hi Wild Things, welcome to or welcome back to the Wilding Astro Tarot YouTube channel for another tarot reading. Today we're going to be channeling messages about what it is that you need to hear to heal or move on from any past situations that are still lingering in your present day time space. These are going to be timeless messages, so you can come back to these at any time where you feel like you might need to hear a few things, hear a few channeled messages from spirit that is going to ultimately help you to move forward on whatever timeline it is that you're on. So that's the intention today. Definitely a very healing, clearing kind of tarot session today. We will be finishing up setting up our tarot space in a few moments, and I'll give you a little freeze frame, a little opportunity to pause and allow your intuition to guide you to one of three piles that I'm going to set up for you that will each have a different crystal to harness the energy of whatever that reading is going to be. So for now, you can definitely enjoy me setting up this space for us, getting that vibe kind of ready and clear and ready to hear messages, and maybe tuning in your intuition to lead you to the right pile for you today. But then taking a few moments in a second when we're all finished setting up our piles to pick either pile 1, 2 or 3, and then using the timestamps below you can head to the relevant piles you get your messages today. So that's kind of the vibe. I do have one last thing to say before we finish setting up our ritual space today, and that is that my tarot readings are open. So I've definitely changed how I'm doing readings at the moment. So I used to have 3 reading types. One was just tarot, one was a combined astro tarot, and one was astrology only readings. At the moment, I'm only doing the tarot only and the astrology only readings. So you can head to the link in the description box if you'd like to request either of those from me. The combined readings were very popular, but for now it's just a little bit easier for me to just be doing one or the other, because it takes a little bit less time for me. So that's always there for you if you want to get personal messages rather than a collective reading, which is obviously a little bit more general, and so you're going to have to take what resonates and leave what doesn't a little bit more in today's reading. So that's always there for you as an option. And looks like we're just about finished setting up our ritual space today, so I'm going to leave that there in terms of intro, opening, and let's get into today's video. Here there, pile 1, if you chose this beautiful blue crystal, then this reading is probably going to be for you. But take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a general reading, so the messages will be for the collective. If you would like to get more personal messages from me that are more specific to you, you can always head to the link in the description box for a personal reading. But we're just going to use these astrology cards to find out what it is that pile 1 needs to hear messages about today. So what do you need to move on from? What healing do you have to offer pile 1 today, please? What healing messages do you have to offer pile 1 today? We'll just see if there's any last messages. Okay, so pile 1, the 4 cards that have been drawn for you in terms of the messages that we're going to be hearing today for healing is Scorpio, I Transform, Moon, the Soul, Aries, I Am, and the 7th house of partnerships. Libra is Aries' sister sign and naturally likes to sit on the 7th house of partnership, so I find it very interesting that these two cards came out, especially since I had an intuition to pull one more card. I was only going to pull 3, and so I'm definitely sensing some sort of healing messages about relationship dynamics for you. The Aries, Libra and 1st house, 7th house axes has a lot to do with balancing our need for, you know, autonomy, space, distance from our partner, feeling separate from our partner, but also feeling connected and emotionally involved with our partner. It's kind of this real seesaw of being both separate and being connected. So I'm sensing some messages in regards to relationship dynamics and like figuring out that balance. So like avoiding codependency, but also not being hyper independent. That tends to be this kind of axis energy. How do you find that balance so that you're not becoming toxic in a codependent way, but you're also not becoming toxic in a hyper independent way? So there's definitely some sort of relationship dynamic that we're going to get some healing messages about today, where maybe it was a little bit toxic in one of those regards, or potentially it was flip-flopping between the two. The first two cards that came out were Scorpio and the Moon. So Scorpio is a heavy transformation energy. It really asks us to evolve. It also has a lot to do with power and control as well. So we might have some messages about potentially a healing journey that you've been on, ways that you've evolved from your past relationship, and ways that you've wrestled with, you know, certain aspects of power and control in relationships. Scorpio energy can also be like a more romantic, like soulmatey kind of connection, so something really intense with a lot of soul lessons, especially because the soul came out. So I'm guessing this whatever relationship that you're hearing messages about today was super intense, was a bit of a, or maybe is a bit of a soulmatey connection if this connection's still active. So definitely very intense kind of like soul lessons. Maybe you knew each other on the other side, or you're in like some sort of like soul family dynamic, and yeah, there was some sort of intense lessons that needed to play out in this dynamic. Can we get some messages? Can we get some healing messages? The pile 1, please. Okay, so pile 1, I'm immediately seeing closing a cycle of karma with this connection. With the World card, whenever this card comes out, it's Saturn ruled, so it can indicate having some sort of like some sort of deal that was potentially made on the other side with this person is now wrapping up, coming to a close. The truth that you were supposed to reveal to each other has been revealed, and now it's time to kind of like close the chapter, close the karma, and like move on to the next level. So it is definitely, I'm definitely getting like karma's cleared, karma's closed, kind of whether it was like a season or a chapter or the entire connection, there's something closing right now. And again, as I was saying, this Hierophant card does have a lot to do with our connections with other people and kind of heading into a more secure place with those connections. It has a lot to do with kind of learning spiritual wisdom as well. So I'm definitely sensing like this, you guys approaching this connection to learn some spiritual wisdoms, to definitely learn lessons together. We have the 8 of Swords. So I'm sensing that the lessons might have had something to do with being able to come home to yourself in some regard. The 8 of Swords is a Jupiter in Gemini energy, which is also about liberating the mind. So this is about anytime you see any of the characters in the tarot blindfolded, it's about being able to look within and self-reflect. And not necessarily taking things that's happening outside of you at face value, and being able to, you know, understand who you are in a situation, who you're being, how you're showing up, and how you contribute to a situation. It's definitely a heavy self-awareness card. Sometimes it can, especially when reversed, it can indicate like potentially feeling kind of like imprisoned and isolated and kind of like stuck in your own shit. But I'm sensing from it coming out upright that there's some sort of like liberation that you've been able to do, potentially some mental clarity that's been reached, from like really witnessing yourself, really understanding how you contribute to dynamics, and I'm just sensing a lot of self-awareness that's been reached. Potentially you're more open-minded about relationships too, and I'm also sensing that maybe you don't need to force, you know, it's I'm getting less of a my way or the highway kind of situation, a bit more open-minded to connecting with people and meeting them where they're at rather than expecting them to behave a certain way. I'm getting this big kind of like liberation, like the point of the connection was definitely for you to be in a particular place by the time the karma closed, and feels like you're definitely getting there. Okay, so the next card is we have the Seven of Wands in reverse. Seven of Wands is a Mars in Leo energy. And this card usually refers to choosing your battles more wisely. Potentially next time you're going to need to choose your battles more wisely. Potentially things kind of got escalated in a way that they didn't need to in the connection that you're either in or were previously in, that you're healing and moving forward from. This card's also about trusting that the divine will support you, will have your back, and so you don't actually need to engage in every battle because the divine will like protect you essentially. So I'm getting, because this card is reversed, that potentially throughout the connection maybe you were a little bit disconnected from that feeling of the divine having your back and like everything happening for you, not to you. So I would say this is the kind of main healing message that you need to hear from this reading, is that whatever connections coming into mind that maybe felt, you know, hard or turbulent or just like full of so many lessons, it was happening for you, not to you. It was part of the universe's divine protection, to kind of put you in a position where you can close some cycles of karma, where you can be more developed spiritually, where you can be more self-aware, where you can be more open to receiving different people exactly how they are and where they're at, rather than how you would like them to be. And I think the main message is essentially just trust that all of that happened for a reason. There was a purpose to it. The divine wasn't sending you into a battle that you couldn't win. This card, obviously you can see there's like one person fighting against many swords. And so sometimes, especially when it's reversed, it can indicate like feeling like you are put in a situation where, you know, it might feel very, you know, like threatening, feel like a battle that you can't win, like you might feel outnumbered or overwhelmed. But the card ultimately refers to kind of you needing to go through what you went through. There was a purpose to it, and the divine wouldn't have let you bite off more than you can chew, and actually you were stronger than you thought, and you were ready for this battle, ready for these lessons, even though it might not have felt that way. You were actually always strong enough, and there was always a greater purpose to what you went through in this connection. And so yeah, I think also these messages are kind of giving a little bit like, don't dwell on how hard the battle was that you've previously fought. Like really focus more on the rewards so that you can move forward, because if you get into that like headspace of like, you know, the divine really put me through it, that will kind of keep you stuck and will stop this karma from being able to close, and will keep you from being able to move on to the next kind of phase of your life. So you're supposed to close this. You're not supposed to dwell on how hard all of these lessons were for you. You are supposed to be moving forward, being like grateful for the lessons, trusting that it all happened for a reason, trusting that it happened for you, not to you, and that it was always divinely guided to get you where you were supposed to go. Is there any additional things that you want pile 1 to take away, please? Any additional things that you would like pile 1 to take away, please? So pile 1, we have faith in your dreams. So everything that you're really desiring right now as a result of being through this connection, have faith that those things are going to manifest. Potentially built up a lot of desire in this connection through the contrast that you experienced from a lot of the battles that you were in. Helped you clarify what you want and what you don't want, what's good for you and what's not good for you. So have faith that those that will manifest. Yeah, you're definitely in like a much more empowered state now, I'm sensing, especially with the Scorpio energy and power coming out. It seems like you're much more empowered, much more in control of your life, you're just in a much better position potentially to manifest your dreams, potentially much more powerful of a creator, because potentially you've shifted through a lot of your own shadow and worked through a lot of your own stuff, so that you're going to be able to attract things more easily. And then your affirmation for today is, I radiate love, my heart is open to receiving the love that I desire. So yeah, I have a feeling that there's a new phase, a new chapter coming in for you when it comes to romance, love, connection, based on kind of the cycle of karma that you've now closed from whatever this situation was. And so yeah, now it's time to receive that love that you deserve, that you desire, that maybe you've been able to clarify based on everything that you've been through in this connection. So now you're like really clear on it, and now you're ready to make your dreams a reality and manifest that love in to you. But I think that's all I have for you today, pile 1. Thank you so much for supporting me at Wilding Astro Tarot. It would be super helpful if you could like, comment and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And until we see each other again, ciao. Hey there, pile 2. Welcome to your reading on what you need to hear to heal and move forward from whatever situation in the past you need messages about today. We're going to start with this astrology deck, getting some messages about what exactly it is that you need to hear some messages about today. What does pile 2 need to hear messages about today, please? Pile 2, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a general and collective reading. If you do want specific messages from me, my readings are open. You can head to the description box below to get more specific messages. But for the collective, for pile 2, everyone who's made it here today, the messages today are going to be about some sort of period of disconnection. I'm sensing these are very personal messages based on Aries and Capricorn energy coming out. As well as Neptune. So Aries is an I am energy. So this is essentially who and how we show up in the world as an individual. This is heavy individualism energy. Capricorn is how we essentially use our gifts to service the world around us. So how we service the kind of greater good, essentially, like how we help the collective, how we help people. So again, I'm getting very like personal healing messages for some sort of struggle that you've been in when it comes to maybe like your career, or kind of like just generally where you're at in life right now. We've got Neptune energy, so this is potentially going to be messages about things that have maybe not gone the way that you wanted them to, maybe some patterns that you're replaying that have to do with what you've internalized about who you should be or what you should be, or what's a good job to have or something like that. This can be very kind of like collective energy, so things that you've absorbed from the way the world works. So these are like systems of like capitalism, patriarchy, things like that. So we've got some sort of felt sense of disconnection, some felt sense of maybe not getting the things that you necessarily have wanted in life up until this far. Can we please have exactly what the messages are for pile 2 in terms of what they're healing from? Okay, pile 2, I'm kind of getting the feeling that maybe you haven't felt like you've been able to enjoy your life as much as you thought you would, particularly as an adult. I feel like there might be some felt sense of responsibility on your part, or like maybe overworking in some sense. The first card that we had come out is the 3 of Pentacles, which is a Mars in Capricorn energy, which has a lot to do with, you know, hard work, and trying to do that without too much control or criticism, especially criticism towards the self. It's really about kind of like diligently going about your work and like gradually kind of like building a foundation, making things, you know, kind of nice. You can see this gentleman in the pictures like painting these pentacles onto the arch of the roof, so he's kind of like making his work like beautiful and meaningful, nice to look at for other people. But I'm sensing with this Empress energy coming out is that maybe you haven't felt like you've received the rewards from all your hard work so far, and that's been really challenging. It does look like there is some sort of something coming in where you're potentially gonna get more of those rewards potentially a lot quicker. So this last card, this 5 of Swords energy, this is a Venus in Aquarius, and this is really about purifying, detoxification, letting some things go. You can see this battle has occurred like on a kind of like turbulent day with all these kind of like clouds kind of rushing around this character, but this character has come out victorious. But you can sense from the energy of the card that it's like a little bit touch and go, and potentially that's where you're at now, where it kind of like maybe feels a little bit touch and go, like you're not gonna necessarily get what it is that you want from the situation. It might feel like a little bit of a dead end, or that maybe your work's not being appreciated, maybe you're not getting to enjoy your life as much as you thought you would or what you would like. But it seems like the kind of point of your I'm getting mostly career energy from this. Kind of the point of the way that your career's gone so far is so that you'll have this kind of like spiritual reward at the end. So the King of Cups energy, this is like heavy, like sitting in rewards of emotion, feeling, spirituality, connection, and it's a very abundant energy. All the cups energy is very abundant, and so it seems like your abundance is coming, but it was necessary for you to like kind of like have this kind of like battle when it comes to maybe not feeling recognized, maybe not feeling like that abundance was ever going to come, and just like, yeah, there's some point to like kind of battling your own thoughts and beliefs, because there's some kind of letting go of those thoughts and beliefs that needs to happen. There's some sort of squeeze that's happening here, to essentially, it seems like there's some sort of limiting beliefs that you have that you need to let go of. And that's really what this battle is all about. Like, you are going to come out victorious, but maybe there's like a bit of like a either lack mindset, or you know, maybe like fear of abundance, or fear of like resting, relaxation, luxury, which can all be messages of internalized capitalism that need to be worked through. So yeah, it does seem in your case that yeah, there's so much hard work that you've put towards your goals that you feel like you're maybe not reaping the reward yet. But yeah, the thing that I'm sensing that you need to not dwell on how things have panned out so far, because that's kind of keeping you stuck and it's reinforcing the belief rather than helping you let it go. So in order to move forward and in this situation, it's important that, yeah, you detoxify those negative beliefs, those thoughts that you're not getting anywhere because you are, those thoughts that you're not going to be able to like enjoy your life and rest and experience all these spiritual rewards that you probably want. It feels like that's keeping you stuck in a kind of loop, which is kind of the point of the situation you're in. The point of the situation you're in is to choose different thoughts and yeah, have a breakdown of those beliefs rather than kind of reinforcing those beliefs. And that kind of seems to be the struggle that's keeping you stuck where you are. Yeah, there's definitely I would say the point of you being called to this reading is to definitely shift that perspective and do more of this kind of like letting go, detoxification of those limiting beliefs, so that you can attract in what it is that you really want. That all that abundance, rest, luxury, kind of anti-capitalism in a sense, and feeling like your work is like recognized and rewarded. Yeah, you're supposed to feel the way you're feeling. You're supposed to be in this contrast right now so that you can kind of break through the limiting beliefs of your own mind, essentially. Is there any final things that you want to tell pile 2 to help them heal, please? Okay, so the first card we have is the South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. So there's probably a reason why you have the limiting beliefs that you have around career, money, abundance, joy, rest, play, things like that. And it's probably coming from somewhere in your past, in your childhood, in the way that you've internalized the world, the messages that you've taken from the world around you. Maybe you've internalized systems of kind of capitalism that are not serving you. And so it's important now to not let who you were trained to be as a child hold you back, or as a young adult hold you back. It's time to kind of like forge your own path. Okay, so we have release and abundance. So this is kind of exactly what I've been saying this whole time. There's shit that you need to release, shit that you need to let go of, limiting beliefs that you need to release, kind of who you were trained to be needs to get released. And that's what's going to attract in the abundance that you've already earned, that feels ready to come in for you. As soon as you, I feel like it's going to be a floodgate, like as soon as you are really open to it and have done this work to release what it is that's holding you back right now, I feel like it's all going to come in super quickly. Okay, so the affirmation that we have for you, pile 2, is I choose to think positive thoughts because I know I am a manifestation of my own thoughts. So again, this is kind of exactly what we've been talking about the whole time. It seems like there's a limiting belief that's essentially keeping you stuck, keeping you on a loop. And it's time to shift the thought pattern into something more positive, to believing that this abundance is all lined up for you, ready to come in, so that you're able to receive it, so you're actually able to manifest it into the physical. It seems like you've done so much hard work and really good work that the divine sees, and that the divine's ready to reward you for. You just need to essentially open up so that it can actually reach you. That's kind of like the last step here, shifting the thoughts to something more positive so the manifestations can actually arrive. But I think that's all I have for you today, pile 2. I hope this helped move forward from the situation that you're in, probably with your career most likely, just based on how the messages kind of unfolded. I would really appreciate it if you can support me by liking, commenting and subscribing. It goes a long way. But thanks so much for supporting Wilding Astro Tarot by watching this video all the way through nonetheless. And until we see each other again, ciao. Hey there, pile 3, welcome to your reading today. If you chose this beautiful moonstone crystal, then this reading is probably for you, but take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It is a collective reading. If you are looking for more specific channeled messages for you, you can always head to the link in my description box to request a personal reading. But let's get some messages about what's going on for the pile 3 collective. What is pile 3 healing and moving on from, please? What's pile 3 healing and moving on from? What's pile 3 healing and moving on from? I have one more card about what pile 3 is. Oops. Okay, so pile 3, I'm sensing that you guys are moving on from mostly a connection that didn't go the way that you wanted it to go. We have the Mercury retrograde energy, which is kind of famous for bringing back exes. So there's some sort of like ex situationship that seems to be at play here. I'm sensing there was a lot of passion and desire in this connection, and maybe felt like this person was your kind of person, a blessing. But I'm sensing that this person was supposed to feel like the one, but is something that is ultimately supposed to be let go of based on this solar eclipse energy. So solar eclipse energies, these are massive to do with kind of like evolution of the self or revolution of the self, so drastically changing the way that you approach certain things in life. So I'm kind of straight away getting that this person was supposed to shift a lot of things, but they were ultimately not your kind of like ultimate blessing, but because they felt so close to it, they are potentially very hard to let go of, and potentially there's been a little bit of back and forth, I'm feeling. Maybe like, will we get back together in the future? Will they, won't they? Maybe like struggling to let each other go. Yeah, there's some sort of like holding on to an ex relationship here, and I'm sensing that with this Libra I balance energy, so this can be someone who was a really good mirror. Libra loves to sit on the 7th house, which is a heavy mirroring back energy. So this can mirror back to us what would balance us out, but it also can mirror back to us our shadows. So I'm getting a bit of a mix of maybe this person mirrored back but some balance for you, but it also mirrored back some of your own shadows, and potentially those shadows were something highly addictive to you, because potentially you're trying to work out wounds from your childhood with this person. I'm kind of getting. Do we have anything else for pile 3 in terms of like what the actual messages are? We have what the actual messages for pile 3 are in regards to what they need to know to heal and move on, please. Okay, so pile 3, the first card that came out when I was talking about reinforcing childhood wounds was this 6 of cups energy, sorry. And you can see in this card that it does actually depict children, and it is to do with childhood innocence and nostalgia a lot of the time. And so I'm sensing that we're definitely on the right track with those channeled messages regarding this person. I think they seemed more perfect than what they were, because they reflected back to you exactly how your relationships potentially with your parents or guardians as a child went, and potentially what you were actually trying to work out with them was how those relationships with parents or guardians went. It seems like you were trying to course correct or like kind of try and fix your childhood by trying to make this connection work and trying to make it healthier than what it was potentially, and potentially you were maybe a little bit blind to where it was unhealthy because it was so familiar in terms of the patterns that we're repeating, because the patterns were from your childhood. They felt familiar, so you didn't realize they were toxic. They felt like they were right in a way, but actually they weren't. They were kind of perpetuating your own stuff in a way, particularly because this Six of Cups energy came out in reverse. When it comes out right way up, it's more of like a enjoying the joys of what your childhood was like in more of a positive way. It's more of nostalgic in a good way because it came out in reverse, I think. Yeah, it's more of nostalgic in a bad way. So a way where you were kind of getting stuck in your own stuff, trying to fix things from the past that weren't going to be fixed in this connection. The connection was only meant to show you what your stuff was. It's kind of like repeating a pattern so that you as an adult can see what the situation actually is, because maybe you weren't able to internalize the situation kind of properly as a child. Like you internalized it as kind of like normal, but actually it wasn't normal. So yeah, I'm sensing it was always supposed to be a teacher. It was supposed to show you where you have stuff in your own kind of like history that you're repeating. It's supposed to show you your loops, especially because it came out on top of this Mercury retrograde energy. So Mercury retrogrades are actually good times to self-reflect because Mercury is obviously a heavy thinking communication energy, and it likes to rule over the third house, which can talk about our early experiences in astrology, so our childhood. So yeah, this connection was always supposed to show you things about your childhood, teach you things about your childhood, and give you that clarity so that you can move forward with your life essentially, and maybe break the patterns that are holding you back, and stop seeking to fix things from your relationship with your parents or guardians, and instead of trying to fix it, maybe move on and learn to just live a different way, maybe make healthier choices in some regard. This Six of Cups is a Sun in Scorpio energy, and it is heavily about learning from the past rather than getting stuck in the past. And it's also about, you know, living in the now. So yeah, it seems like this connection was keeping you stuck in the past, stopping you from living in the now and making different choices in the now because it was too familiar to you, in a way that it was kind of triggering you to repeat patterns rather than move forward and move on. So we have this Page of Wands energy, which is heavy fire and earth energy. This can be about exploration. You can kind of see this guy's like on this like exploration quest. It's also heavy kind of like excitement energy, and I feel like this came out after this card to be like, now's the time where you get to kind of like explore what it is that you want in life. Like you're not going to be repeating patterns from your past necessarily anymore. Like once you can like really learn what that relationship was supposed to be showing you, now you're going to be free to like move forward and kind of explore what it is that you want. And it's exciting because then anything's possible. You're not going to be drawn back into the familiar, the things that were kind of keeping you stuck. Life will feel more exciting when you're the author and you're getting to write the story rather than repeating the story. We also have the Ace of Wands, which is heavy like power and clarity card, heavy to do with like mental clarity as well. So it seems like this connection was also always supposed to offer you mental clarity. So it's supposed to help you like understand why you are the way that you are, so that you can make choices that feel more aligned with your soul and what you want in life, rather than kind of making muddy choices or choices that just repeat patterns that aren't coming from a powerful or clear place, that are coming from more of like a automatic autopilot place. So yeah, it's like definitely I'm getting like new era for you, like making different choices, making better choices, making more aligned choices. And it seems like this is all to say that you're supposed, like this was always supposed to put you on a path to getting exactly what it is that you want. So the Three of Swords is a heavy like fulfillment energy, like everything is done, everything works out the way that it's supposed to work out. You can see in this card, it depicts a king watching his ships come in at sunset, and the vibe of the card is supposed to be like, it's like this golden era where everything is the way that it's kind of supposed to be. It's everything that you've worked towards, everything that you've built, it's like deeply satisfying because you built it, you did the work, you set it up exactly how you wanted to set it up, and you got to live the life that you wanted to live, not the life that was handed down to you by the particular patterns that you were exposed to when you were young. So it seems like you're on a whole new trajectory because of this connection, what it was able to teach you, or what it will eventually have taught you when it's fully kind of closed. So yeah, I would say from these cards that like the advice seems to be like, don't get hung up on thinking this person was something that they're not. Take them as the lesson that they were always supposed to be. Learn why you were in the situation, what was addictive about them, what was familiar, how you were repeating patterns from your past in this connection, how you're maybe trying to solve some of your issues as a child in this connection, and then really embracing this new energy. So being able to like write your own life, have the power and clarity and, you know, understanding your own patterns, so that you can choose something different, so that you can set up something different that's ultimately going to be more fulfilling, maybe more abundant, more rewarding in your life. Yeah, those seem to be the main messages in terms of like how to heal and move on from this situation. I think it's just very important that you see it for what it was, and that you reflect and learn, but don't get stuck in the back and forth cycle. It just wasn't supposed to be what it might have felt like initially. Okay, so we've got take time to breathe out. So this is heavy exhale energy. It's usually about letting stuff go. So I think you will need to take some time to fully let this connection go. I think it's kind of like all well and good to like say all this stuff about like what's to come and what you can look forward to, but I think it will just take time. You'll probably need to kind of grieve, and yeah, just as I said grieve, we had the void and acceptance. I think you need to accept the grief, and allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to sit in the dark of like understanding what this connection really was always supposed to be, that it wasn't, you know, this big blessing that maybe you thought it was initially. And yeah, accept it for what it is, accept that it was a lesson, process all the grief that is going to come up as a result of that being the case, sit in it, work through it, so that you can ultimately learn from the situation and move forward. Okay. These cards just be popping out today, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so the final affirmation for you, pile 3, is I release all that confines me, I set myself free. So obviously this connection is like holding you back, confining you. You need to release from it, allow that to take time if it takes time. It's okay if it takes time. It's okay if that sends you into a bit of a depressy-tessy kind of vibe. It's okay if that brings up a lot of grief. It's okay if that's hard to accept for a while. When you release it, it will set you free to create the life that you want to create and have the connection that you want to have. And yeah, everything happens for a reason, and this was supposed to teach you, to set you up for creating the absolute best life for yourself that's going to feel the most fulfilling, that's going to feel self-written especially, and not a repetition of kind of your past and your past stuff. It's definitely giving breaking generational curses kind of energy. which I love that for you. So yeah, that's kind of the vibe. I think that's all I have for you today, pile 3. I hope these messages were helpful or entertaining at the very least. Thank you so much for supporting me at Wilding Astro Tarot by watching this video and watching it all the way through. I would also love if you can like, comment and subscribe as well to support me here on this channel. But until we see each other again, ciao.